I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about how timing is critical to reattracting your ex.
A very important question. And I did want to say before we begin that I'm now available for coaching alongside Coach Margaret and Coach Craig. So if you are interested in a coaching session, just head to the website, click on our names at the top, and book from there.
Absolutely easy to do. You know, Margaret, we talk about time a lot, and we talked about
Yes, we do.
the power of no contact in time, and how when we have that time, it really allows for the other person to miss us and to reevaluate things and oftentimes want to repair things. But what I thought we could get into today is timing, which is different than time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
With time, it could be like a length, right? A certain length. But with timing, it's about in what moment, right? Where it takes place in time. And I think it's really important for you guys to have a good understanding that when you try and force things because you're anxious, it's not allowing that timing to happen naturally.
Right.
Right? Any more so than wanting a flower to bloom before it's ready.
Right.
Well, they won't. I've noticed that. I've told my flowers.
Yeah. But, it's frustrating because we get anxious and we want to speed things up.
Exactly.
But it's so important to understand timing is crucial to reattract your ex. So we got some good points today that we want to talk about. So when I did a little research on timing, there actually wasn't a lot.
Oh,
There
sure
wasn't
not.
a lot of stuff that come up. But I saw some stuff about alignment, something aligning at the right moment. And so, like, sometimes you could think about, like, an amazing athletic feat. You know, whether that be catching the ball in midair, halfway up, upside down. The timing has to be right.
Right.
Right? In order
Yes.
for those things to happen. If you're anxious, you might do something because you're too eager.
We need to move on with this.
Yeah.
We've been separated for 2 weeks now, and I'm very depressed and I can't eat.
Yeah. Or I think of like a baseball player when they're sitting on a pitch. If they're too anxious, they're going to swing before it gets there.
Right.
Or they'll swing at a pitch on the outside
Right.
of the...
And timing is everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
And another great example is dance.
Oh, sure.
If your partner is leading a certain move and you know the move and you go ahead and do it before they tell you to, then the whole move is thrown off. So similar concept of timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. That's a great analogy because if you think about it, it's two people in line together. And you have to have that specific alignment and timing to make it so beautiful.
Exactly.
So sometimes you'll hear things like, "Oh, it was the right person at the wrong time." That there wasn't perfect timing.
Right.
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 And I do think that's true.
I do too.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't finished school yet, if they just had a death in the family, there are all kinds of things that can affect timing.
Maybe you meet somebody when they're in a relationship.
Right.
And then,
And there's the old, gee, I wish we'd encountered each other at another time.
Yeah, I do think that poor timing does happen.
Yep.
There maybe somebody's going through something really challenging in their life or their mental health isn't in the right place.
So if I'm the anxious partner and I'm calling my person, what should I be thinking about?
It's a good question, Margaret. What should you be thinking about?
Well, I think the first thing you'd want to think about, how are you going to begin the call in the most non-threatening way you can, all right? Because you don't want to scare or annoy this person at the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think once you find out what's going on for that person that day, then you can consider making decisions about what to say. If they're feeling stressed and the mortgage is late and the kid is crying and, probably not the best day to ask for something.
Yeah, so you got to consider what's going on in your current relationship. If you're in a relationship, and read the room. Like you've heard the example of reading the room.
Read the room. Yeah.
Maybe you're asking something from your partner on a day where they're not in a good mood, right?
Exactly.
You do have to be able to
Sure
read
you
the
do.
room.
Sure you do. And sometimes it's hard over the phone, especially if you have a face call. That's better.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't live in a bubble. I think sometimes our anxiety can really cause us to focus on ourselves and think that any type of change in mood that your partner has is because of us and directly influenced by us. That's not the case a lot of the time.
No.
So really consider what's going on in your partner's life too.
That's, I think, what we're saying. You have to think about what's going on with the other person. We know how you're doing. You're anxious.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I've talked about this for years, how anxiety makes us feel selfish and self-absorbed.
Right.
And I think it's because on some deep level, we're feeling like our survival is at risk.
Somewhere on a deep level, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's that serious. Yeah.
And so you have to really work on managing your anxiety and learning to becoming more confident and soothe yourself. That way you aren't pressing things when you're anxious.
Right.
And it does take a lot of patience. I know many of you on the other side of this video are watching this thinking, what can I do to get my ex back? I want to fix things. I want to repair things. I want to be active in my approach to getting them back. But sometimes that can be counterintuitive if you don't have that patience to really wait for your ex to process things.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I have some points here too that we could go over in being ready and things that you want to consider for timing, right? Like sometimes somebody might not be aligned with what's going on in their career. And they feel like they have to focus on that, and maybe it takes them away from home, going to a place to do something for, I've heard a guy recently, he had to go out of state to train with a mentor for like 6 months. And so that can throw off a connection.
Sure.
And so sometimes a temporary change like that can really affect the timing, right? That's one thing. But sometimes you have to learn and grow from your other relationships before you get to a place that you're ready to, be in a place where you can commit to somebody, right? And so a lot of times people haven't been through enough experiences in life where they know that they're ready to settle down and have that.
Right. And I think this also goes for those of you who are going through a breakup, that you haven't processed the breakup, you haven't processed the hurt, and you're ready to jump back into a relationship with your ex very quickly without having done the personal growth to really sustain it. So what we won't want to see is a relationship happen again and those same issues pop up.
Right.
Which is what happens more often than not when you don't really take time to reflect and to grow and to look at the things that we teach, because we're always trying to teach you guys how to become more secure, how to be a better partner, to improve your mental health and ways to do that. Because Margaret, how many times do we see a breakup because somebody is going through anxiety or depression?
Very, very often. And sometimes it's not even obvious.
Yeah. Depression is a big one.
Depression is a big one, yeah.
I see a lot of people break up with their partner because they feel guilty. They don't have the energy to put into a relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, that could be bad timing, but if they start to work through that with a therapist, maybe they see a psychiatrist and get evaluated for medication to get themselves in a better place, they're going to be a lot more likely to work things out with you. But if you're impatient because you're anxious and you didn't get your needs met growing up, which maybe you could talk about, it's going to cause you to be impulsive and try and force it.
Right.
Margaret, maybe you could talk a little bit about how not getting those needs met does impact us in the present.
Okay. Well, pure and simple, if you're talking about a relationship, then we bring to that everything we learned growing up. We learned whether relationships are safe and fun, or whether they can be scary or isolating. There are some kids who are smothered, there are some kids who are ignored, and all of those things tend to affect how we're going to respond to our partner. So if you were neglected as a kid and nobody talked to you and nobody asked you how you're doing, how do you know to ask your partner how they're doing? You've never seen it happen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So there are many, many things we can learn after we grow up that we may not have learned when we were kids, which is why we don't give up too easy. Most of us can learn quite a bit.
And, we've talked about, like, when a kid doesn't get their needs met for so long, they just kind of feel like it's never going to happen.
They feel like they give up. Yeah, they feel like it's never going to happen.
Yeah. And so that may be part of what's driving you to try and force things.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware of those things, that you want to be in a place where you're ready to grow individually, but also can grow with a partner.
Mm-hmm. And that's the point in many ways, right?
Yeah.
We all have an obligation to be the best people we can be, and if we're in a relationship that helps, that's a huge help. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted you guys to understand that there's a lot of manipulative tactics out there, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is trying to force
Yeah.
things based on anxiety.
Yeah, and control the situation.
Right.
Yeah. And it doesn't flow naturally when you
I've
do
had
that.
people say to me, well, can't you tell me what to say to her so she'll come back to me? There must be some way to manipulate her. And I will always say, that's not what you want. Well, but that is what I want. I want her to come back to me. No, you want her to come back to you of her own free will, or it won't last this time either. And also we have to be aware that these days women are warned, and it's a good thing, from every direction, to be careful of men who appear to be controlling. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you think about it, controlling is what maybe the root of that is anxiety.
Oh, of course it is, yeah.
So-
yeah, I'm going to control everything because I don't know what you're going to do, and I don't want anything to change, and I want you right here with me, and yeah.
So that's what we're trying to say here, is that when you understand that and you're able to show that you're not going to control, it shows that you are confident, and that's very attractive.
Suppose you say, when are we getting together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if she's had a bad day teaching, say, her answer's probably going to be never.
And many of you might also be in no contact watching this and frustrated that you're not getting any results, that your ex is not contacting you.
Right.
But what this really reminds me of is the marshmallow test. I don't know if any of you have heard
No,
of it.
I don't know about the
I'm
marshmallow.
not sure I know
test.
this.
Where they leave children in a room with a plate of with a marshmallow on it.
Oh, I have heard this, but
Yes,
it's good.
you have.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have it.
So they put a marshmallow on a plate in front of a child and they say, I'm going to come back in a couple minutes, and if the marshmallow is still
here.
there, then you'll get two. Don't eat it. So then the researcher or whoever leaves the room and waits to see if the kid has enough self-control to not eat the marshmallow.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually they did a longitudinal study, and they found that the children who did not eat the marshmallow and had that patience had a lot more success later on in life
Of course.
than the impulsive children who just ate the marshmallow.
Mm.
It's the capacity to delay gratification.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that your patience will result in good things.
Yeah.
When the timing is right, things go well, things flow naturally, and things flow organically.
Yes, absolutely. And so stop trying to force things. Focus on the ways you can grow and heal and get to a place where you truly have changed. That is what will impress somebody and naturally reattract them. Not some stupid, these 3 text messages will get your ex back.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
And I know how tempting it is to eat that marshmallow.
I might as well have eaten the marshmallow because she still didn't come back.
That's what it feels like sometimes. Yeah, sure. But, we say this all the time. Not everybody's going to have a chance with their ex. That's true. But if you do the stuff that we're talking about, eventually you're going to be in such a good place that you find somebody else and you have a great relationship with somebody new.
Exactly.
Who doesn't like marshmallows?
Maybe not.
So you can have them all.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful, please sign up.
And Coach Victoria is available.
I'm excited to speak with you.
Just click on their names on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.